Thanks for being willing to meet me tonight. I'm really glad you could make it. The Riverwalk is definitely something special. I'm honestly kind of surprised you hadn't come down here yet. The city plasters it all over their website, and I couldn't even tell you how many billboards in town advertise it. Okay, that's fair. I guess Hidden Gem suits this end of it, the end without all the restaurants and ritzy, overpriced shops. A little better. Oh, here. I took the liberty of getting this for you, since, rain check and all. It's not quite as good as the cocoa from the skating rink, but there's this really great little coffee and bookshop combo that does a pretty passable job at it. Well, truth be told, it's exactly the same stuff. The coffee shop operates the stand at the skating rink, but it just tastes better when you're on the ice. I wasn't sure what else you might want, so I got you what you texted me that you'd ordered at the rink. It's the least I could do after running off so suddenly last time. We might not be on skates, but what would you say to a stroll down the Riverwalk with me? We can even hold hands if you want, cutie. Yeah. Let's head this way. I know it doesn't look like it, but the actual Riverwalk actually continues on down this direction. If we keep following the path, there are condos and stuff, some older buildings that have rooftop restaurants, things like that. The bridges that cross the river all the way down all have these adorable lanterns hanging from them. They just give off this really warm glow. And the way they reflect off the river is sort of delicately beautiful. Sometimes you can hear a band playing from one of the rooftop bars. I don't think we will tonight, to be honest. It's cold enough I don't know if any of the restaurant patios are even open. But even when you do hear that, it's just distant enough. Because, rooftops. That it's still mostly just the river. It's just got a really calm vibe down this way. Oh, it was absolutely a really pleasant surprise when I found this back half. I mean, the downtown portion of it is nice, and it's probably the closest to feeling like where I grew up with all the hustle and bustle. What? Would you prefer I say something like busyness? I mean, I can, if you want. No? You sure? Anyway, I grew up somewhere bigger than Connor's Reef, and the more touristy end of the Riverwalk feels a lot like there in a good, familiar way. But back here, it's just soothing, and I'm actually really glad I found it, especially when I did. I hear that during the day, there are historic boat tours that point out all the really cool stuff the river passes by, but I've never been able to make it down here when those are running, so I couldn't tell you if they're worth it or not. It just seems like I'm always too busy during the day to get down here and catch them, and they don't run at night. It's never bothered me too much. History's never been my favorite subject. And nightlife is more where I thrive anyway. The atmosphere at night is just so different. People are out to relax and unwind, or maybe even to party. Though, I tend to avoid most places where that happens. They really aren't for me. Places I'd tell you to go. Oh, there's a really great Mexican restaurant at the top of the Riverwalk. And I'll give you the name of the coffee shop where I got the cocoa. Their book selection is something special, and their coffee's pretty good too. If you like coffee, that is. Have you seen the really gaudy burger place about midway down? Yeah, at that intersection. If you drive behind it, there's a ramp down to a lower deck parking lot, which is right off a neat little park with a statue garden. And the burger place's food, by the way, is actually really good, believe it or not. In the historic part of downtown, right off the square, there are a string of independent art galleries that each specialize in a different art form. Like, one of them is essentially a jewelry store, and another only has oil paintings, that sort of thing. Oh, the skating rink may have been taken down now that the holidays are over, but it'll go back up in the same place November 1st. We can, and I owe you some answers anyway, which is why I'm glad you agreed to meet me. Some things are easier to talk about in person. No, I wasn't afraid of you. If I had been, I certainly wouldn't be walking down a fairly deserted river walk at night with you. I was afraid for you. Oh, it makes sense. Whether or not you want to know the truth, though, is something only you can decide, cutie. If you want the truth, I'll tell you. If you don't, well, then this was a really nice walk along the river with some really good cocoa, and I lose your number. Your pulse is speeding up, cutie. I can sense it. I guess you could call that a gift I have. Sort of. Oh, and that look you're giving me. You just went from wondering what the hell I meant to wondering if your eyes were playing tricks on you. That glow you're seeing in my eyes, the faint one that you're trying to convince yourself has to be a reflection of the river lights, or maybe you're sure that what you're seeing is because the moon is so bright tonight, because people's eyes don't glow. It isn't either of those things. Or how about the way my canines look a little too sharp? Also not a trick of the light or lack thereof, and definitely not your imagination. I usually don't have my fangs out just on display like this, but I figured it would help with the visual demonstration. We've talked enough that I know what a skeptic you can be. You want proof of things, so I'm offering you all the visible proof I can of what I am, short of actually biting you, which I have no intention of doing. Yet. It's supposed to be pleasurable, the biting, but that's also a conversation for later. When I met you, it was supposed to be quick and simple. I help you with the skates, I take you for cocoa, maybe maneuver you under the mistletoe for a quick kiss, and then I lead you to a dark corner where we both have a little fun while I get some breakfast. Then I heal the bite, wipe your memory of the last few minutes, and leave, never to cross paths again. You ever have a day where you get to lunch or even after it and you realize you forgot to eat it all that day? And your head feels fuzzy and you're sure you could eat the entire contents of your fridge? My plan at the skating rink fell apart when I got too close to you and realized it had been too long since I'd eaten. You smelled too good. Biting you at that point wouldn't have been safe for you. I might not have stopped before I... Let's just say killing people is not a vampire's goal and is absolutely not the point of feeding, despite what popular fiction says. I left for both of our safety. And then you had to stop me and ask me for my number. I hadn't planned to give it to you, but I really couldn't think straight. My head was a mess. I didn't expect you to actually text me, or for you to be so cute. Where we go from here is up to you. I can wipe your memory of our whole conversation. You won't recall a word, a moment, a glance, nothing. Or I can not, and we see where this goes. Is it all right if I say I kind of hoped that would be your answer? Good. I'm glad to.